Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful scrapbooking pages from start to finish with an easy to follow guide. And I'm here today and we are going to create a Father's Day layout. So yesterday I was here and I did a couple of Father's Day cards, super fun. And actually, so funny story, this afternoon, because I think I actually mentioned it during my live yesterday, and I said, oh, I think I should probably create one for my dad. So I got a message about an hour ago from one of my sisters asking for, she's going to put my dad's gift in the mail, and she said, hey, do you happen to have a Father's Day card? And I'm like, hey, I actually do. So that made everything a little bit easier. So I'm going to shoot you down on my table and we're going to go, oh, hey Tina, and I'm going to go over a few of the tips that I have before I start. So I will just, there we go. Okay, just one sec. I'm going to turn the zoom off here because you don't need to be quite that close probably. Oh, that's weird. It's panning and zooming the wrong camera. Okay, so I might actually have to lift my camera up because we're going to do a scrapbooking page, but we'll see how this goes here. So I don't know if you saw on my preview photo, but I put this picture, it was on the page. And so I knew for my layout that I was going to do a ton of 3x3 photos on it. So I wanted to print them the best way possible. So as you know, on a 4x6, you can print a 4x6 and crop it to 3x3, or you can print a 4x6, a 3x3 photo on a 4x6, but you can only get one. So this I actually printed on like my home printer. I have like a photo printer though. But this is an 8.5 by 11, the same as your printer paper. And so I was able to get 6 3x3s onto my sheet of paper. So I do this in PicMonkey, and there is a tutorial on here if anybody actually is interested on how to do it. I'm totally feeling like I'm going to have to lift the camera because it is a 2-page layout, but we'll see. Okay, so then the other thing is my layout. Here's all my pieces here. So like I said, I cut up my 3x3 photos beforehand and I've matted them just so that you wouldn't have to watch all that. But I used the Mix-Ins paper, and one of the sheets on the Mix-Ins looks like this. So it's a whole bunch of tags, super fun. So I thought I would use them on my layout. So the back side is just this gray with the little triangles on it. So I knew I would get the most use out of using this sheet. So I've seen people cut it up, and sometimes the tags get kind of destroyed along the way. So I'm going to show you how I cut it up. So I actually cut up the whole sheet, and they're sitting here in my little container. But the best way to cut it up, because as you can see, these little tags at the bottom don't line up with the tags, right? So the first thing I would suggest you do is cut these off the bottom and then cut them up. So I cut off the small pieces first, just like that, okay? And then you would cut this in half and then cut those up. And then I also cut off the zip strip because you obviously want to save that to use, right? Just like that. And then actually the easiest way I found then to cut up this sheet was then to cut it the long way. So right along each of these tags. So when you line it up in your trimmer, you can see exactly where it's going to cut. So then I went through and cut all of them up in this direction. And then I went in and trimmed them this way. So in the middle, and then like this, right? So I think that if you actually cut them up like this, then you'll find that you use them more, right? So I just keep them in the bag with my little scraps of paper. Okay, and I'm totally feeling like I'm gonna have to raise my camera. 1 second here. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to turn that one off for a second, and you're gonna get to see me climb up on my chair. And I can turn it off so it won't make you dizzy, but then okay, so let's see how that one is now. There we go. Okay, totally sorry about that. I forgot that it was so low from yesterday. This seems just at least a little bit better. Okay, we talked about the photo thing. So then the next thing is we are going to use the stamps, and I want it to be, my background to be kind of grungy looking. I don't know why it's still zoomed in so much, but that's okay. Let's see if I take this off, if this helps. Seems to help the one camera, but not the other one, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, anyway, maybe we'll have to just do it one page at a time, one side at a time. So it is a 2-page layout. I have no idea what's going on, but and we're going to do a whole pile of pictures here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do this with the stamps and create matching same size pieces as my photographs. So I thought this kind of looked kind of like a grunge look. So that's why I've done this on my background. So I did this before so it would dry. But I'm going to show you exactly how I did it right now. We'll do one and just kind of set it off to the side. So the reason that I thought I would do this is because I really loved this combination of the bluebell and the black together. And I don't know why it just kind of spoke grunge to me, but it did. So we're going to try and do that. So that's just the plan in my head here. So I have just 2 pieces of white daisy, and we are going to create that same background on this piece of white daisy. I'm just going to set it behind me, and I'll use it for something else. Whoa. So just to be warned, the camera does not like the white. So here is what I'm going to do. So I took the bluebell. Okay, and I have an all-purpose mat down. And I'm just going to smush a little bit of ink on my all-purpose mat. And I'll just show you the difference here. So if you lay the paper right into the bluebell ink, you get this solid kind of beading effect happen. So, but I wanted it more grungy. So I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water. I just have some water in one of the spray pans. And then I'm going to smush it on my actual mat a little bit so that I get just kind of more of an organic look than just the straight mat on there. Now, depending on how much you pick up, it's going to change the look of the background, right? So, and if there's different spots that you like more than others, you can always change it. And the more you play with it, the more organic it is. And then all you have to do, sorry, this is probably going to make the camera go crazy, is just press it down as much as you want. So, and then you get these fun, like, so I thought it kind of looked like a little bit like grungy. So that's how I did my background. I'm just going to quickly clean off my all-purpose mat because we all do know I will end up with Bluebell ink all over me. Okay, so that's how I created my backgrounds. So I did 2 of them because we're going to do 2 pages. I wonder. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. That might be a little bit better. You can almost get both pages on. Okay, so let's do our stamping first for these little pieces. So I have another fun little tip that we're going to use here. So I'm going to do some like rock and roll stamping here. So I'm going to do Bluebell in the middle and then black around the edge. So I have 3 different stamp sets or images from those Father's Day stamp sets. So we are just going to do another one and I'll show you the difference. So this is the image just in black. And then this is the image in the Bluebell and then rock and rolled into the black. So you can see how I'm getting that grunge kind of look here, and it's very different than this one. So I'll show you when we lay it down on the layout too, how much different. This kind of just gives it a little bit more character, and I think it draws in the colors from that Mixins paper, which is the Bluebell and the black. So we will do that same image, and it's already on my block. Just moving the wet stuff out of my way here. Oh, here's my blocks, of course, right in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the Bluebell ink, right? And then when I actually did these ones, I just used my big black ink pad. But I also had to create a card today for somebody else, and so I dug into my Craft with Heart box, and I was quickly making a card because Craft with Heart, it's all like it's a kit, right? So everything's in there, and one of the things that's in there is this little black 1-inch ink, and I thought, that is perfect for rock and rolling edges of a stamp. So I think that when we do this one, you'll see that it's a lot easier to have control with this little tiny ink spot than trying to roll my big block in my black ink. So that's what we're going to do now. So I have, here's just a piece of foam, and like I said, we'll just do this one again. So I'm going to ink up in my Bluebell and hopefully not shake my camera too much. Okay, so I'm happy with how much ink I have on there. So then, instead of having to roll this around in my big ink pad, I'm just going to open this little tiny spot, small ink pad, and then you can actually see I have complete control over where I'm adding the ink. Okay. And I'll wipe the ink off the edge because I was being goofy there. Okay, and then when I lay it down, I get that fun, and it'll dry and it'll look like the other one. So that's just another little tip. If you have these, there is obviously some uses for them. So lots of people, when they do their craft with heart, right, they probably already have black ink and just set it aside. But so there is another way that you can use it, right? Okay, so here we go. We have the two backgrounds. Okay, let's move the ink out of the way. So I still don't think I can get the two on camera, so we'll do one at a time. So I'm going to do, I have this Best Dad Ever, and then a little wood grain. So this is a piece from the Mix-Ins. It's the one with the ledger paper on the back. So I'm going to add my, just like that. Okay, and on this side, we are going to, so I have two triangles. They were like a square and or two rectangles, and then I cut them in half. And then we have some skinny strips here. This is for our other page. So, and then we have a block where we're going to add our photos. So this is going like this. So on one half, they're just going to be pictures of him by himself. So I also have a 3 1/4 mat. So like I said, all my photos are 3 by 3s. So my actual white mat is 3 by 3 and my black mat is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So on this side, I'm going to do pictures of him all by himself. And on the other side, I have pictures of him with each of the kids. And they're going to get on the other side the ones that say like Dad Rocks, and then the fisherman one, whatever it says, which is under there somewhere. And then, okay, so let's get this centered. I don't know why the camera view won't raise up today, but that's okay. So we're just going to, so this is just like a standard block, right, of 3 by 3 photos. So we'll go like this. Like this. So you guys might have to see another Father's Day layout, considering I printed the second set of the second sheet so I could show you. And it's going to have to be another layout with 3 by 3 photos. I'm sure I can find another use for it. Okay, so then I have these triangles, and we're going to do this. And then we'll add this, and then I'm going to add the tags at the end off the side. So I'm going to only tack it down, this piece down in the middle, you'll see. But I know, so I want this one underneath. So triangles are super fun and very popular right now. So I did both sides match so that they're the same. I'm trying to get more of the white off the screen there. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so then we'll put this down here, and then across the bottom and then across the top on the other piece, other layout, I have, so this is a 1/2 inch piece from the mix-ins. So you just have to be careful with the mix-ins when you want to do 2-page layouts, because you only have one sheet. So if you want them to be matching, you have to be careful of the pieces that you're cutting, that they're not too big, that you're not going to be able to use them on 2 layouts. So then I just have, because it's totally opposite of the grunge that we've got going on in the background, I've got just a skinny 1/4 inch piece of the Bluebell glitter paper. And so I'm just butting that up right against my piece on the bottom. And then, okay, so you're going to see I'm going to stick the adhesive just in the middle so that I can, once I'm finished, decide how I'm going to tack the tags and pennants in. So as long as you don't stick your adhesive right out, like there's more than enough adhesive that this will stay on my page, right? But it's not, it's going to allow me still to tuck things in. Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of my way. Okay, so now we're going to make the other side the opposite, right? So I've got my same grunge. Sorry, I'll have to move my cameras after. I'm not really sure what happened there. So I have my matching 1/2 inch piece, and then my 1/4 inch piece that we'll put down, and then my 2 triangles. Okay, so I'm going to put this one down first because I want it on the bottom and I want the camera to stop auto focusing. There we go. So this little multi-dot, I said yesterday too, when I was making the Father's Day card, I love it. So it's got all the colors from the mix-ins in it, just in a little tiny bit. So, and the mix-ins paper to me just felt very, I mean, you could totally use it for anything, but I thought it was perfect for Father's Day. Okay, so now I'll just add this to the top, and then we'll figure out our photos. So I have a total of 6 squares for this side, and so I have 2 kids, so there's 2 photos of each of them, and then we have the stamped images from that Father's Day set. So the set is of course it's the one I didn't pick up. So it's the My Dad Rocks. Okay, so now I want to, because it's one layout to the next, like one page to the next, I want my photographs to be in line with this side. I'll just make myself smaller up there. You don't actually need to see me. So this is, okay, so I think this was my plan. Now it doesn't have to be exact, but okay, so then for these, I have the piece of wood grain. So that's, I think, 3 1/4. And then I did bluebell. And then I have the 2 stamped images. So I have this one, I think I'll put here. And then the fish one, Real Cool Dad. Because my son fishes with him, I thought I would put that up here, like that. So we'll just push these together, then I can get them both on. And it even helps me line up the photographs. So let's I'm going to put down my photos, and then I'm going to add, I think, some 3D foam tape to these two. So we'll do the photographs first. And like I said, they're not going to be exact, but I could do this. Okay, so I'm going to add my wood grain piece, and then I'll pop up the other pieces. Okay, and in turn, that just gives me my spots for my photos above. Okay, there we go. I'm just making sure my wood grain is all going in the same direction. Not that you would probably notice, but sometimes it's just those little things. Okay, so now I'm going to pop these two up on 3D foam tape. So now I have a card to match my layout. Or a layout to match my card, if you want to think of it that way, I guess. So the back side is where I was playing around trying to decide if that's what I was going to do or not. But I didn't want to waste the paper, so I just did my good stamping on the other side. Sneaky. Okay, so now the fun part is the tags and pennants. We're going to tuck some in to the layout. And I super wish I could fix my camera because it's irritating me, but that's okay. So now, like I said, I have these today all in here, but after I'll just throw them in my bag with my leftover paper. So I think we're just going to play around, and I'm going to put some down and see what happens. So I was thinking of using this, but I realized I don't have toffee on either side of the layout. So if I put the toffee over here to do journaling, then I need to bring it over here somehow. So that is possible. So I'm thinking then I need Bluebell over here. Oh, we've got lots more here going on. Oh, I could do this one over there. And then there's all these fun little pieces that kind of look like washi tape, some of them. Some of them I could add like this across my photos. And I need to bring that black over there too, but I might do it with this tag because I want a different shape. So on top of bringing the things from one side to the other, I'm looking at varying the shape that I have on the two sides. So just bear with me a second here while I decide. So I still need Bluebell over there. So I could nope, I think we're gonna go like that. I'll just flip through them quickly here, but I think that's what we're gonna do. So, or I could do my journaling on this. Okay, that's the Bluebell piece I'm gonna use. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to cut a dovetail into this piece so that it matches this piece. And I'm going to make it go on the same side. So there's lots of ways to do it. You can fold your piece of paper in half. I'm just, because it's tiny, I'm just cutting up the middle a little bit and then into that middle cut. Sorry, I should probably have kept doing that on camera. So just like that. There we go. So like that. Okay, so for this, I'm going to tuck this under. We'll just have to see how stuck down I made that. Nope, not bad. So if I'd been thinking, I probably would have also done the same trick with not adding too much adhesive to this piece. I'll save that other little bit of tag to use somewhere else. I'm also going to trim off these stitched lines because you can't see them, but I can add them somewhere else. And then just because there's adhesive on here already. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this off so it'll just look like a little piece of washi tape instead of the top of the tag. Just like that. There we go. These aren't glued down. There we go. Oh, thank you. So there we go. We got a whole bunch of pieces there. We've got that toffee in 3 places, 1 on each side of the layout. So now we will cut this up and add this one in here. So I'm going to keep some of this tag because I like it, the little black and white one. Okay, and I'm not pushing anything down until I know for sure that that's where I want to keep something. I also thought these tags would be super cute with the hole punched out and then mink twine actually put through them. So that they would look like a real tag. And I'll put something on this edge here, I think. I don't like how straight that edge is. And then for this one, I'm going to use the top part here. So we get all the colors and a few different shapes. So maybe I'm going to pop this up on 3D foam. This is just thin, but it gives it a little bit of dimension. There we go. And I definitely need something more there. So I'm thinking just one of these little something here. There we go. This is what we're going to do. So all those little bits and pieces I've just thrown back into my little tray, and I will for sure add them in different spots. I just need to lift that up. Okay, and we're going to do something right there, don't worry. So then, because I put the Bluebell shimmer trim on this grungy layout, I thought we would add the Bluebell sequins on here to kind of tie it together. So I'm just going to add them on, a few on with glue dots. Just need to get them out of my pile. So I'm just going to cut off a few. Now that they're on the inside, I find this easier. So I've just cut some off, and then I'm going to pick out the colors that I want. And for this one, all the colors in here make sense. So it doesn't really matter. That was almost a bad accident, guys. So there's like the true Bluebell, and then there's the iridescent color. So I'm just pushing them down onto my glue dot, and I'm picking out a variety of sizes and finishes and colors. So I have some that are iridescent, some that are just the solid. I can actually do some that are the white, or it's off-white. It's not really white. I would say it's almost French vanilla. So, and if I was working on a project where I was going to use sequins throughout the whole thing, so like when I do a workshop that I put sequins on, I'll do a whole strip and then pick off the ones that I want for each layout. So there we go. I think that might be it. So I'll just move this out of the way. So I'll just go over some of the things that we did today. I will take pictures that are the full spread because I'm not really sure why the camera is not going up, even though it technically should, so that you can see what they actually look like together. But so the first thing we did was we talked about the full sheet of photos. So when I have a pile of 3x3s that I want to print, this is how I print them. Like I said, we're probably going to see another layout with that. And then, oh, look at that. We've got an extra piece sitting here on our layout. Maybe we should add it in. No. Then we did the grunge background on the all-purpose mat with a little bit of water. And right, depending on how you want it to look, I wanted them more grunge look, like the splattered water. So I did add a little bit of water and I rubbed it around on my all-purpose mat to get this kind of look. And then we did the rock and roll with the stamping. And like I said, so save that little tiny ink if you have it from your Craft with Heart. It works really well for this. Or even if you're trying to sometimes stamp too, you know what we could do? We'll add a little bit of some of the smaller stamps maybe in here somewhere. So when you have little tiny stamps like this, so on this one, there's like some images. There's a few little dots. There's a heart. There's these like four-sided stars. There's regular stars. You can use this very easily with the little tiny stamps. Sometimes, like when you get your big, huge stamp pad, it's almost too big sometimes, right? When you're using a little tiny image. So that's another time where this might come in handy, right? So I've never used this, so we're going to just stamp it once. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it up here on this little tab we have going on there. So I think I'm just going to throw my Versamat underneath. Like this. Something just fell. Luckily it didn't fall on the dog. Okay, so see, it's nice and handy, right? It's just little tiny, and you'll see that because I'm not using my big ink pad, I don't have any ink on the outside of my of my block. So there's another good use for that little tiny pad. So we could even add in here some random black, right? So this is just the little tiny 3 dots. So because it's small, it's much easier to control. This you could even do like first and second generation to kind of get more of that different grunge look going on. So you can see, and then I will rotate it so that they don't all look the same. And then because I wasn't paying attention, I just did exactly, because I was looking in the opposite direction. So there you go. There is another good use. And so that might actually, I'm going to add it up here because it also might help with this not looking quite so square. I'm going to add the heart over there too, I think, instead of that. Maybe the bigger heart even. And then I'm going to add the heart on this side, and then I'll add it over onto the other side too. So see, it's super easy to control on that little 1x1 block. So there, now that's a little bit better. Now I don't necessarily feel like I've got such a harsh line there. Okay, so now I need to add the little heart over here though. And probably a few of the little, because we put them on the other side, we'll just quickly add some in here. And then I think I'll just do the little heart right here on my little journal tag. To finish that off. There we go. So there we go. We found yet another use for those little tiny ink pads that if you have your craft with heart, you have. So then on this side, did like the grid with the rock and roll stamping, and we cut up the tag sheet from that Mix-Ins paper. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next week. Bye bye, guys.